Hey everyone, welcome to a new day. It is, what day is it? It's Thursday. It is Thursday. So I have it's cooking but not cooking. Little different video for you today. And what you see in front of you, obviously, is chicken. So last night I cooked 4 chicken leg quarters in the slow cooker. And so what I'm doing for the first time, I am basically going to use all of the chicken for one thing or another. So what I have here is, this is the deboned chicken. This is all our chicken meat that I deboned from it. So I'm going to put this in a Ziploc bag and label it, freeze it for whatever meal we may want to use it for. Okay, so that's that part. Here are the chicken bones, which for the first time I am going to use. And then here is the chicken broth that's now a gelatin because it's been sitting overnight. So that naturally just gels. Okay, so little background story here, I guess, and I won't leave you watching the gel as it might look a little gross, but so little background story. Seeing as it's winter in Wisconsin here and all over the country, obviously, but our freezer is pretty small and I can't fit a whole lot in there. So over the winter, we were using coolers in our garage to freeze meats. So back at Christmas time, when we were going to food pantries, we had received a second turkey right after Christmas. But we didn't want to cook it right away, so we put it in the cooler and we left it in the garage. And because of the cold temperatures, it was froze all winter long. We did that for the chicken leg quarters and things like that. So we kept them in coolers in the garage to stay frozen. So now that spring is approaching and the temperatures are starting to warm, we don't want to take the chance of the meat thawing with the temperatures and then taking the chance of losing that meat. So what I did last night was I brought in the turkey, or yesterday morning, I brought the turkey in and I brought 4 chicken leg quarters in. And I thawed them out, and to my surprise, they thawed out pretty quick. So I figured I better cook them right away. So I cooked the turkey in the oven, as I normally would, and the chicken leg quarters I put in the slow cooker. So, and that was pretty late in the afternoon. So everything was cooking until about 1 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. So, what I did then is, obviously, I wasn't going to stay up till 3 or 4 to wait for them to cool off so I can debone them. We have a hallway that's not insulated, and at some point I'll show you that hallway. But over the winter, it's almost like a second refrigerator for us out there. When we were getting frigid temperatures in that hallway, it got down to like 30 degrees. So that hallway is our entrance into the house. So anyway, instead of staying up till 3 in the morning waiting for the chicken and the turkey to cool off to debone, I put it in the hallway to stay cold, or to cool off and stay at cold temperatures until I can get to it today. So here I am. I've now deboned the chicken leg quarters, and like I showed you, parts of the chicken. So now what I'm going to do is, obviously I'm going to freeze this chicken, the meat, and the broth that was created by the chicken, which is now a gel, and it's got all little pieces in there. I'm actually going to put this in a saucepan and warm it up, and then strain out all the little pieces out of it, and then save the broth for making chicken gravy. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to take all this, put it in a saucepan, and then I'm going to put this to soak with some hot water and soap, because then I'm going to have to reuse it again right away. So I need to reuse this slow cooker. All right, so that's the intention for the broth that's now gelled. And then the bones. For the first time, I am going to make our own bone broth or bone stock, whatever. People call it bone broth. I believe stock is made mostly with the bone. So anyway, I'm going to make bone broth or stock, whatever. But I'm going to put it in the slow cooker. I looked up a recipe for it, and I'm going to throw all this in the slow cooker once I wash it out, and I'm going to put water and vinegar, and I'm going to put it on low and let it go for like 24 hours to get everything I can out of that. So that's what I am doing, and I'm going to do the same thing with the turkey. Now the turkey got done about 1 in the morning, somewhere around there, maybe 12:30. And so 1 in the morning we're picking at the turkey, of course, because we're up and waiting for the turkey to be done. I didn't want to fall asleep with all this cooking. So yeah, we had a couple of turkey sandwiches at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I have to debone the turkey still. We're going to have some for supper tonight, and I'll have to package up the rest of the turkey. I'm sure we'll eat off the turkey tonight and tomorrow and then freeze the rest. We'll probably have some turkey lunches. But it's probably about a 14-pound turkey. So yeah, a lot of meat will get frozen. And that'll save me room and make sure that we don't lose these meats as they're thawing out in the warm temperatures. Okay? So that's what I'm doing. And yeah, right now I'm going to put the gel into a saucepan, warm that up, and then we'll go from there. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so I have the gel or the chicken broth that turned into a gel in a saucepan now, and I just got that on a very low heat, and I'm just going to let that basically turn to liquid again so I could separate all the little things in there from the juice. So meanwhile, I'm going to basically get the slow cooker ready to start the chicken bones for the stock, okay? Okay, so you can see our turkey here and how much we dug into it last night. Most of the breasts are missing. So I'm basically going to just cut some turkey off, warm it up in the oven, and make us some lunches. And then after we eat, I will basically do the same thing to the turkey, debone it and separate the meat, the bones, and do the same, and the gel at the bottom to make save for turkey gravy. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, so stay tuned. Okay, so before I get the bone put in the slow cooker, I just wanted to show you, I have my chicken that I deboned from the chicken in a Ziploc bag. This is a gallon size, and I just labeled it, the date, and chicken from 4 leg quarters. So yeah, and I'm going to throw it in the freezer now, and because it's in a Ziploc bag, thank you all for that advice. It works out great, and I could even fold it like that. So, and then yeah, when we're ready to have something that needs chicken, whether it be chicken enchiladas, chicken quesadillas, chicken tacos, chicken noodle soup, whatever, the options are endless. So yeah, that's what that's going to do. So I'm going to throw that in the freezer, and I'll be right back, and we're going to get the bone put in the slow cooker. All right, we are ready to put our chicken bones in. And it's okay if it has stuff on them. So next I'm going to put some water in. Oh, make sure the water stays inside. Might just throw a little bit more in there. Okay, that's enough. You don't want to fill it too much. And then next I am going to put 2 tablespoons of vinegar. And that is all I'm going to do. Because when I made the chicken at first, I had put seasonings in there, so those seasonings may carry through the broth or the stock, whatever you want to call it. so I'm not going to add any more. So when it's done, we'll taste and then add if we need to. So I'm just going to plug it in now, cover it obviously, plug it in, put it on low, and let it go. Okay, so I'll be back when it's ready. All right, so the next step is, now that we've had lunch, I'll continue on. And this is the chicken broth. So I'm just going to go ahead and run it through this so it catches all the little stuff. And then all I'm left with is the broth at the bottom. Now I'm not going to use this broth right now, but it is going to be to make gravy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it gel back up. It's going to cool off and gel back up. And then I'll put it in Ziploc bags and put it in the freezer, but I'll label it what it's for so I know what it's for. And that's all there is to that. Okay? So the chicken is pretty much done. The bone is in the slow cooker. This is the chicken broth for the gravy. And the actual chicken pieces are in the freezer. So chicken's done. Now I'm going to work on the turkey, which is the exact same process. The turkey is just a little bigger. Okay? So I will be right back. Okay, so continuing on from the broth and stock and everything. This here boiling is the broth created by the turkey. So yeah, it doesn't look pretty, but it has all the little schnibbles from the bottom of the pan. I'm going to be draining it here in a minute. And then I'm going to be making turkey gravy out of it for our turkey dinner tonight. So that's what's going to happen with the broth from the turkey. And as far as the bones from the turkey, since I need to put those in a slow cooker, I put them in a plastic container and I put them out in the cooler in the garage where they'll stay nice and cold. And as soon as the chicken bones are done with that broth, then I'll start the turkey bones. So that is what's happening with all of the chicken and turkey bones, broth, stock, and meat. Okay? Okay, so I've drained all the little schnibbles out of the turkey broth, and here is my broth. And it's a lot of broth, so I'm not going to use all of it for the gravy tonight. I'm going to put some of it in a jar and store it for next time. And here are the little schnibbles that came out of it. And this is actually going to be a treat for outside animals. We have some cats that come around here, and so they're our family too. They live here. They look for food here. They live here. So we're going to give them a little treat since we have plenty of meat, and they'll enjoy that. So, all right. So that's basically the end. Well, I'll show you the broth or the stock when it's all done in the slow cooker. So that is the broth for now. All right, everyone. So it's after dinner now. We've eaten, and that turkey gravy I made came out super good. It was delicious. So here is the other half of the turkey broth. This is just an old spaghetti jar that I saved, or a spaghetti sauce jar. So that's the other half of it, which I can make gravy again tomorrow, because we'll have another turkey dinner tomorrow. So yeah, I'm very happy with the way everything's turning out. Here is the rest of our turkey meat in a gallon-sized bag. So keep in mind, yeah, this is all that's left of the turkey meat. But we have already eaten off this turkey 3 times now. So we'll have another turkey dinner tomorrow. And I'm just going to freeze the rest of it for another day. So everything is turning out good. Here's the slow cooker with the bones. This is the chicken bones. And cooking into a chicken stock or broth. Bone broth. So yep, I'm gonna leave that until tomorrow afternoon, but smells good though. So I am very happy with what's going on here. And if this bone broth turns out, and then I'll do the turkey bones, then I will never buy broth from the store in a can or carton again. So yeah, it's all about learning your way around the kitchen, and I'm really happy with how today went. So all right, just want to give you that update, and I'm going to call it a night. I will be back when we are ready to shut this bone broth off. Okay everyone, so it's been 24 hours since I have been cooking the bone broth in the slow cooker. So I have now taken it off, turned it off, taken it out of there so it can cool off. I've already taken everything out of there. I just took the skimmer and lifted everything out. But now I'm going to run the broth through the strainer here, sieve strainer, so I can collect any other little particles in there, or schnibbles, whatever you want to call them, so I can have just complete juice. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so I am going to try my best to get this on camera. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pour it in now. Alright, so you see there's enough broth there so I'll just lift this sieve up. So there it is. I'm going to wait a few minutes to taste this and see how it tastes. Okay everyone, so this is my bone broth. I've already taken everything out of it, and I've been reading up on bone broth, and it tastes like it says it's going to taste, really bland. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, and I want all the grease to come to the top so I could skim it off, because it does have a greasy texture. So I want to skim that off before I add flavoring to the broth itself. So yeah, so I didn't know what to expect as far as taste. So this is what it is. So I'll do that, and then I'll pour it in a jar or something that I can freeze it. So yeah, more to come on this broth. Okay, so what I have here is the broth created by the chicken. So this is actually the chicken broth, not the bone broth, but the chicken broth. So I refrigerated it overnight, and you can see it's a gel now. And I've skimmed, you can see on top here, I've skimmed off all the grease or the fat. And now I'm going to put this in a Ziploc bag as a gel so I can freeze it, because I don't intend on using it anytime soon. Sometime when we have chicken or whatever, we need chicken gravy, then I'll use it. But this is what I'm going to use for chicken gravy. Just like I did with the turkey gravy, I made it with the turkey broth. So yeah, so far it's coming out good. And now I'm going to freeze the chicken broth. Okay, so now I have my gelled chicken broth in a Ziploc bag. And you can see I labeled it here with the date, chicken broth for gravy, so I know what it is. So yeah, and again, using these Ziploc bags to store everything flat is working out great, because I can get more in my small freezer. So with this, I'm just going to fold it. I can fold it like 3 times like that, or I can just spread it out and make it flat through the whole bag. So okay, so that is the broth, and I'll be back when the bone broth is gelled, so I can skim that fat off. Okay.